Hey everybody, how you doing? Good to see you. I like that music. Anyway, we'll fade it out very professionally. And it's me, Mitch. And here I am. And I'd almost rather be outside right now. I got to tell you. Somebody said, come on, Mitch, you got to watch the Phillies. Wow. I remember the Phillies back in the 50s and the 60s with Robin Roberts pitching and Joe Garagiola on as catcher. And yeah, my grandfather used to take me to the baseball games, and I wasn't much of a sports fan, but I liked the hot dogs and the orange sodas. I think that's why I went. And so it began, eating. Anyway, I was saying I'd almost rather be outside. The weather, it's finally hit. A cold front went through. The day was in the low to mid 70s. It was like 50 something when I walked out this morning. And when you live in Florida, and the first morning when you walk outside and it's cool like that, it's a great feeling. It really, really felt good. It was sunny, beautiful all day. Beautiful. Michael, hello, Mitch. Just got my shirt today. Good for you. Yeah, there's some of those shirts are starting to be out there. I don't think we've really flooded the market with them yet, but you know what? That's a good segue to start. First, my disclaimer, where I tell all you nice people that Betty can't stay. Well, good to see you, Betty. Thanks for stopping by. Come back if you get a chance. I get a chance to tell you that I'm not a doctor. And every time I say that, it's ironic, because if I was a doctor like most of the other doctors, I'd actually be admitting that I'm way off track and don't know much about the reality of diet and all that other stuff. So saying I'm not a doctor in my mind means I'm the expert, but it doesn't work that way in our world. Those little alphabet behind your little letters behind your name seem to elevate people to tremendous status, because they sat in a classroom bored to tears listening to somebody else who didn't know much about what they were talking about parlay that information to them. But I'm not a doctor, and any advice that I give anybody about anything on here is only my personal experience, my own personal observations, trials and errors, successes and failures over a lifetime of trying to find out what works. And sometimes I'm not firmly convinced that we've got all the answers anyway, even those of us that have succeeded. I get reminded every once in a while that I'm 76 years old. I'm not 30 years old. I may feel like I'm 30 years old, but I'm running around in a 76-year-old body that's been beat up all my life with all kinds of problems, including rheumatoid arthritis. And I think I overdid it at the gym a week or two ago. My shoulder here is a little sore. I've been pushing probably more weight than I should at my age. I don't know what I'm trying to accomplish. And I have to be mindful, and I think we all have to be mindful as we get older, that maybe we have to go a little easier, that the goal of trying to look like Schwarzenegger is not really realistic for us at our age, maybe when we were in our 20s. But so I've kind of made a change in my exercise routine, in that I have kind of switched from the muscle building mode that I've been on for 7 months or so, because I'm happy with the amount of muscle that I've put on. I'm kind of going to go into a little less intense muscle maintenance type of a workout, where I start up in the reps a little lower in the weight, just to try to take it a little easier on my joints. And we'll see how that works out. So I'll let you know. I have started, I'm going to probably be going to the gym less and doing more floor exercises at home, squats, push-ups. We have a little gym here at our community that has a whole bunch of these resistance machines. And that's a lot easier. So I may once or twice a week go to the gym, and the rest of the time go here. I like the gym too, Carlos, but I have to drive 10 miles to get to it. And sometimes if you don't go at 5 in the morning, it gets very crowded. And then you can't really do a smooth routine down the line of all the exercises with minimum rest between, because you got to wait for some of these yahoos that do a set, then play with their cell phone for 5 minutes, do another set, play with their cell phone for another 5 minutes, and end up spending 20 minutes sitting on and tying up the one lousy machine that you need to use. But that's the way of the world today. Anything that you want, you end up having to wait for, because you have to compete with everybody else who just happens to want the same thing at the same time. Michael says, ever try a slow burn? Yeah, I do that. That's not as hard on the joints. But again, I'm not going into any competitions. I don't want to damage anything. I did go over to the VA when I hurt my shoulder, and I had them x-ray it. And basically what they said is, you remember that arthritis you used to have? Well, that left some small gaps in the joints there. And even though it's not arthritic now, I can get a little pain from that, but I didn't break anything. There's no damage to anything. So I'm fine. Andre says, you can say, you mind if I work in? Nah, not to most of these young, snotty kids. The last time I tried that, the guy looked up to me, took his earbuds out because he couldn't hear me. I said, do you mind if we switch? And he looked at me and he says, well, I'm using it. He put his earbuds right back in. I felt like killing him, but I don't ever ask anymore. There's no such thing in my gym as gym etiquette. There's too many wealthy people live in that neighborhood, and they all have their Range Rovers and Corvettes and Teslas parked outside, and the world revolves around all of them, and don't get in their way. So I stay out of their way, but I have no problem. I have plenty of places to work out. And 5 o'clock in the morning when I go, it's great because they haven't gotten out of bed yet. But you try to go to this place at 11 o'clock, and it's a huge medical complex. You can't even get into the parking lot, let alone into the gym half the time. DS111, I'd be one of the guys looking at the women. Okay. Let me run back in the chat before it gets too crowded and start to say hello to some people. Kay was in here early. How you doing? Swamp Ninja, one of our channel supporters. You can tell them because they turn up green in the chat, indicating just how special they are, and they are to me. I'll stop now because I've decided that I'm going to have to do like everybody else does on YouTube and do my shameless plugs for the channel support. I'm just going to have to come out and do it and not be embarrassed because I don't like doing it, but I'm going to have to. So here you go. A few shameless plugs for the channel. We'll get this out of the way. I should wait till we get a lot more people watching, but that's okay. Hopefully people will watch the replay of this thing too. So let's go over to this screen here. And what I've got up here is my website. And I have started, in case most of you don't know yet, one of these channel membership things. And there's a button over here that says join. And when you click the button to join, it shows you this screen here, and it says $3.99 a month. And I only have one level. I'm trying to keep it simple. And it's for channel support. It's to help me keep going with this thing, because I spend a lot of money and I spend a lot of time at this, and YouTube doesn't compensate you very well with ad revenue or anything else, which is why all the guys do this. Because otherwise they'd have to, they wouldn't be able to spend the time. They'd have to go out and work to make a living. At any rate, if you join on the channel, what happens is you get, and I'm not going to overblow these benefits. It's not, in my mind, it's, I'd rather people do it just to say, Mitch, we love you. We want you to keep doing what you're doing. and show a little support. But you do in the chats on the live streams, you do get special icons, and you get to see your name in green. I'm going to be making maybe once a month a video just for members, and I'm going to once a week, once we get enough members, once I get enough members to actually show up and make it worthwhile, I'm going to do a members only live stream each week, where a link to participate in that stream in a, you've all seen these Zoom like calls, will probably be a maximum of 10 people, not 50 like some of the Zoom calls. But once a week, I'm going to have a members only live stream for the channel supporters, so that you guys can get involved, talk to me face to face, ask questions, get to know each other. And in that way, I know we're building a community, and I've got great people. I love reading all the comments. It's getting so time consuming, but I still do it. Last night, 11 something o'clock at night, I'm still on my cell phone sitting in bed answering comments. But we're going to have those member only live streams. You can join the channel, $3.99 a month. You can quit anytime you want. I really appreciate it. And to show my appreciation, partly on the Old Guy Carnivore website, on the home page, I have a big thank you. And these are my channel members so far, which is pretty good considering I just started it last week. But hopefully I will have 3 columns of names that go all the way down and down and down and down on here. And I update this every day or two. So these are my members here: Boyd Lamb, Betty, Christopher Ellis, Cliff Medina, Coffee Mafia, Larry Salk, Margaret Bien, Mario Sanchez, Martin Nierwinski, Melissa Collins, Sandra McDonald, Siltran, Swamp Ninja, and Tamara Jackson. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. And on that page is a button you can click if you do want to join. Another announcement that I have to make is I've been getting, over the time, a lot of requests for t-shirts. So I went ahead, and this is not my site. I went ahead and designed, other than the shirts I already have, which is the Take the Rest of the Day Off, Eat Meat shirt, sweatshirt, hoodie. I now have a shirt that is a food pyramid shirt. And I actually did the graphic for this food pyramid, so I wouldn't be copywriting anybody. And that shirt is available in all these different colors: blue and maroon and cream. And we also have the pullover hoodie with the food pyramid, a sweatshirt with the food pyramid, and some other t-shirts too. So that's on the Old Guy Carnivore website. Just go up to the, let me get back to that, up here to where it says Old Guy Merch Store, and click on that. And that'll take you to the t-shirt store. Okay. Now I also have, and this all came about because people kept asking me, where do I get all the stuff that I use? This is my Amazon links to all the different stuff that I use and you guys generally see in my videos when I cook it. If you ever see me using something and you want to know where to get it, you can go to the Old Guy Carnivore website, and I have it broken down with the pictures of it. And these are that's the electrolyte supplement I use, magnesium. This is the Lugol's 2% iodine, which a lot of people take. The ghee that I use, the panko pork rind breadcrumbs. This is some smoked salt, regular salt, all kinds of different salt. And this Kinder seasoning I use on chicken wings. I have all the different gadgets, the sous vide machine, the sealer, my favorite Dubai Mineral B carbon steel frying pan. I have the 12-inch version of this pan, which is now, and everybody asked me about where I get that pan that I use, that I cook my omelets in. They have the 10-inch by Ozeri. So I went and ordered this 12-inch German stone, and these pans are certified absolutely no PUFAs or no chemicals, no Teflon, no nothing. It's all ceramic coated. They're great. I go through about one every year and a half where it starts to get, the coating gets a little damaged and I want to replace it. So I got this one coming tomorrow and I'll let you guys know how it works out, but there's links to that. This is what I use to catch my bacon grease. These are some other, this is my meter Bluetooth thermometer that I use. There's also links down here to my t-shirts. People ask me what kind of cameras I use. These are the different cameras I use to film the videos, and that's all on the website too. So I got the website going. I got my channel memberships going, t-shirt sales going. And with that, hopefully it'll bring enough in so that this is really worthwhile, because I really want to keep doing this. I love it. I have a great time doing this. It's not just the fact that they don't pay you a lot of money. It's that it costs you money. It costs you a lot of money. You don't realize how much money it costs to have the equipment, maintain the equipment, the cameras. You got to travel too. You got to travel. If I go to one or two of these conferences a year, that's a couple $1,000. So I've gone over my situation many times already, and I hate to keep pleading poverty, but I'm not poor, but I'm not rich either. And I just want to keep doing this. So if you guys, I'll put this in the words of Joshua Bardwell, who is one of the biggest drone big brain guys, and he has a huge following on YouTube, and he has a member community with thousands and thousands and thousands of people. And what he says to them is, if you think that I'm providing you something of value and you want to join our community, and people do. Anybody who doesn't think or can take and leave me, I wouldn't expect them to join. Anybody that can't afford any money, don't give me any money. Buy a better grade of steak for yourself. Okay, enough of that. End of shameless plugs. Sorry about that, but we got to do that. We got to do that. Interestingly enough, I get letters all the time from people that want me to advertise their products. Have any of you guys seen those little tiny Komodo grills that I've seen on 3 or 4 of the other carnivore influencers' channels? Have anybody seen them? Because about 2 months ago, I got a letter from them wanting me to sell their grills, and they were going to send me a free grill, and I had to do a review and make a video, and then they were going to pay me almost $100 for every one that was sold, and I don't want to do that. Today, I got an email, believe it or not, from DJI, and I don't know how many of you people know who DJI is, but they're the biggest drone manufacturer in the world. And the whole time I was doing drone stuff with my channel, DJI never noticed me. Now that I'm a carnivore guy, all of a sudden I get a letter from DJI, and they want to here. Let me show you. Let me bring it up. I'll read it to you just so you can see the kind of stuff that we get, and we all get this stuff. If you have, I think, anything over 10,000 subs, they come after you like fresh meat, these people. Hang on one second. Here it is, right here. I don't know if you can see that or not, but it says, Mitch, Jim here from DJI. I just saw and then they put a link into one of your videos, prepping 8 meals, finishing baby back post. And I got to say, love your content style. I don't think these guys ever watched it, between you and me. We'd love to work together with you on a DJI collab. Have a feeling Mavic 3 Pro is something your audience would really be into. Now, how many of you guys in my audience even know what a Mavic 3 Pro is? It's a camera drone, but it's one of their more expensive camera drones. It's a $3,000 drone, and they want me to do something with them on it. And the DJI Mavic 3 Pro is a triple camera drone that unlocks new shooting perspectives, allowing you to embrace creative freedom, yada, yada, yada. We're looking to partner with 8 or so influencers to get the word out and all that. So I wrote them back. I said, what do I got to do and what do you provide? So we'll see if they answer me, because if I can get a free $3,000 drone, guys, you're going to be treated to a couple of drone shots in some of my videos. And believe it or not, I've actually had some people ask for that already. some of the people have said to me, we'd like to see some drone footage in your videos when you're out taking a walk. So I might have to do something like that. Question. I see we got a question. Okay, I just saw it going by. Question: can the 10-inch Ozori pans handle withstand being in the oven for 7 minutes? You know, how hot of an oven are you talking about? 400 degrees? It does have some silicone rubber on the handle, and I would imagine that it could. But I couldn't tell you because I have never put anything in the oven in my Ozori pan. I use my carbon steel pan for that. Andre's got ceramic pans. Hi, Mitch, would you have, wow, you've been busy. Margaret, thank you. Margaret, thank you so much, sweetie. Margaret writes to me a lot. Carbon steel doesn't work with glass top or induction. Yes, it does, Andre. I have a glass cooktop. You've seen that. And I use the carbon steel is fully magnetic. In fact, it's probably, you see it, a lot of these induction guys, the guys that use induction cooktops, it's full steel. It's a magnet will stick to it. So I don't know. I don't know. There are some pans that are alloys that you can't use, but yeah, it works fine. It works fine. Every video I've ever seen only uses either gas or glass cooktop. So, and if I'm wrong, let me know. But I use it all the time, and it transfers a tremendous amount of heat, and it heats up really, really fast. Let me take a quick look over the chat. I had a whole list of subjects I wanted to talk to before I brought Carlos in to hit the questions. I did want to make a comment about my cooking videos, guys. I want to make a statement to you all, and that is, I am not a chef, right alongside of not being a doctor. I'm not a gourmet chef. Cooking was never, ever my hobby. I like to cook. I owned a restaurant, but you didn't find me in the kitchen. You found me, unfortunately, out in the dining room eating. The reason that I cook is not so much to show you guys fabulous recipes, because there is almost no such thing as a recipe in carnivore. You got meat, you got salt in varying combinations, and the different fats that you cook in. But as far as any gourmet stuff with gourmet plating, no. The whole idea, at least my idea about being a carnivore, is to minimize not only the amount of time you cook food and eat food, but think about food. So the whole purpose of what I'm trying to do is come up with minimal methods that make delicious tasting food without having to clean up 20 plates and frying pans and all kinds of things. So you can be in and out of the kitchen in a hurry. So you notice I get all kinds of people that'll tell me, I don't know why you fry your bacon in a frying pan, because I put mine in the oven and I bake it and all that. And I say to myself, well, I got to listen, I got to dirty the frying pan up to make the egg. So I may as well make the bacon in it first, pour most of the bacon grease out into my container, leave enough bacon grease in the pan to cook the egg in. The egg will sop up all that bacon grease. When I'm done with my bacon and eggs, there's nothing left in the pan. There's not any grease. There's nothing. The egg soaked it all up. So I have a almost clean frying pan, and I just wash it out real quick and put it away. And that's the whole purpose of the kind of ways I cook, is minimum number of things that dirty, minimum number of things that have to wash up, quick and fast. And I like the suggestions. I get all kinds of suggestions about there's a million other ways to do what I do. And that's great. And some of them I'm going to try. And I appreciate it. But I'm interested in not doing dishes. If I can make my whole meal with one frying pan and that's it, and have it come out clean in the end, I'm a happy guy. So that's kind of the way that my philosophy about cooking. And to that end, I was watching some videos. I forget her name, a channel name, maybe year old videos about. I just noticed one of my studio lights is off. There we go. That's better. All that non-lit green screen that was making fuzzy stuff behind me is now gone. That's better. She used an air fryer called a Z-Star. I don't know if anybody has ever heard of a Z-Star frying pan, air fryer. But it was like a combination air fryer grill. And so I said, wow, that goes, and it goes up to 450 degrees. And I got 2 air fryers already, and neither one of them gets that hot. I ordered one. And after I ordered it, it came in yesterday. And I'm going to make a video with it because I used it today and I cooked a steak in it and it came out great. But I want to make sure people don't think that I'm collaborating with this company, because 8 or 9 months ago, 10 months ago, I found on YouTube like a dozen videos all pitching this particular air fryer. And every one of those people said that the company had sent them one for free. Nobody sent me this thing. I saw one of those videos and said, wow, that looks pretty cool. And I like Amazon because if you don't like it, you can send it back. I don't abuse that privilege, but believe me, I have sent stuff back to Amazon. So I got one yesterday, and I filmed the unboxing of it today, and me using it to cook a steak. And so there'll be a video coming out about that if I think that it's worth something that might be worth having. The cleanup on it is what attracted me. It's twice as easy to clean as one of these basket type, like the Kasori air fryers. And I don't like having to clean the grease out of that basket and the bottom tray, but this thing cleans up real fast. Again, that fits right in. The Ninja Foodie the food one is a good one too, Linda. I've been looking at all these. I always look at these things. I buy very few of these kitchen tools for myself. Generally, if I find something I like, I stick with it. Why keep buying new stuff? But this thing intrigued me. It wasn't too expensive. So there'll be a video coming out about that. It did make a great steak, but I made it. I didn't just trust the timer on the air. I have the meter, Bluetooth thermometer, and I put it in the food and put it in the air fryer. And that way, the app on my phone told me when it had come up to temperature, and it was perfect. Medium rare. It was perfect. And it was about an inch and a quarter thick ribeye, and it was delicious. And because of the little grill in there. It even had some little grill marks on it, like a barbecue. So I enjoyed that. And like I said, I got a video. I haven't started to edit it or anything yet, but I did shoot that this morning. Had another little adventure because I was going to make a video about how I'm changing my workout routines. So last night, I got this. Let me see if I can get it here. This is, for those of you that are interested, how I do all those panning and zooming things when I'm cooking where the camera seems to follow me around. This is the camera that I use. And I don't know how many people are familiar with one of these, but it's a 360-degree camera. It's got a lens on each side, and it takes a full picture of everything around you from right above you to your feet. It's like you're standing inside of a globe, and you can see everything painted on the outside of the globe. And that this camera stores all that. And it's got, you can use it on a selfie stick like this. And then when I'm out in the backyard, it even takes and makes the stick invisible, so you don't even see the stick. It looks like there's somebody with a camera standing in front of me. But this is how I do it. And it has a tripod, and I just basically open the little tripod up like this and set it down on the kitchen counter. And then anywhere I walk in the room, that's captured in the video. And then when I sit down at the editor, I can tell it where to point and where to pan and when to zoom in and out. So all of that movement is done in the editing process, and it's the coolest damn thing. So I take this with me up to the gym here last night. And this only has a 64 gigabyte memory card in it. And I had a 128 gigabyte memory card laying around that I wasn't using. And a couple of times this thing actually shut off because it used up the whole card. And I said, let me swap out the 64 before I go to the gym and put the bigger card in. So I put the bigger card in there and I formatted it. And everything looked all right. I take this thing, and it has quite a long stick on it. See? And I set it on the floor just like this in the gym. There it is. I set it on the floor, right kind of in the middle around where all the machines are. I pressed record. The red light started blinking. I went later at night, so I would make sure that I didn't interrupt anybody else's privacy. I had the whole place to myself. You would have been proud of me, guys. You would have been so proud. I worked out. I did all kinds of shit. It was a great workout. I said, damn, that was great. I picked up the camera to press the record button to stop. Can you guess what happened? It said, memory card failure. Memory card speed too low. I didn't get any of that. None of it. I was so pissed. So tomorrow I'm going to take this to that little gym and try to do it again. But I was pretty worn out the other night. But fortunately, that doesn't happen too often. But it does. Yeah. Bummer, Carlos says. At any rate, that all trying to make videos for you guys. I wanted to mention that I had a great time on my interview with Curry at Homestead How. I imagine a lot of you people saw that. He's quite a guy, and it was almost like interviewing my brother. We had so much in common. It was uncanny. And I haven't talked to him since, but I will. We're both pretty busy, but I really enjoyed that. Other than that, they haven't let me out much. They kind of kept me in, and I did that Bart K interview, and I was on with Larry, the carnivore soldier, once, but that's that the only 3 times I ever actually made the rounds. I know a lot of guys do make the rounds all the time, but that was fun. So I had a good time. I had a good time with that, and I think that's enough of me just talking. So let me see if Carlos is around here. See if I can bring him in. I see his no. Well, we'll wait for Carlos. Carlos, where are you? There he is. Unmute your mic.
I'm here so I don't make noise.
Okay.
Good evening. Good evening to everyone. Ninja
Everybody.
Foodie 4-in-1 or Ninja Foodie 5-in-1. I don't know. It bakes, it grills. It
Yeah, they have
dehydrates
all
and
those
that.
things.
I like
You
it.
know, the problem with all those things, I've got this Cuisinart one. It looks like a big toaster oven. It was the first air fryer I got. I got it to be an air fryer. It's got like 11 modes or more. You can cook anything in that. Problem is, I don't eat all that stuff. I eat meat. And in the air fryer, I generally only cook. Lately, all I've been cooking is chicken thighs and wings.
The ribs.
Ribs, yeah.
Pork ribs? Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I use I'm going to use it for that. But they have recipes on how to bake cakes and souffles and make candy. And I mean, it's crazy. And the problem with that big Cuisinart one is if when it gets greasy or dirty, it is a royal pain to clean up. And that's why I got the Kasori one with the basket, because that was easier to clean up. But this new one I got is even easier than that. So we're gonna see if this doesn't become my new favorite air fryer.
Ninja Foodie
it's Carlos Mitch's enforcer. Yeah. Watch out.
Just have the screen on top, the air fryer pan, and underneath whatever catches the oil, and it just comes right off. It's a beautiful thing. And then instead of putting wings or drumsticks in the oven for like 30 plus minutes, it does wings in 12 minutes and drumsticks in about 18 minutes. I love it.
Can everybody hear Carlos?
Wow, you having trouble?
No, I think maybe you need to turn your mic up just a little bit. Can you do that, or you got it up high already?
Yeah. Mafioso.
Yeah, there you go. He's from New York.
I am from NYC.
Right up there.
I've been told that before, but no, I'm not mafia.
Right up there. Okay, so guys, I don't. We have any questions? No, we have. I saw
yes,
one.
Sanjay asked one way back. Let me raise my mic and then go back. He said something about levels, or I didn't write it down because it was like a short paragraph.
Been a lot of chatting back and forth here tonight.
Yeah, you're gonna have to go back a ways. Carlos needs to turn up. Okay, let's go back. Camera.
It's almost too much to search for.
Desanya, write it again because I didn't write it down.
I'm just looking for the big question if you have a question,
Q,
type the word question in capitals.
It says QQQ in capitals.
Okay.
If I'm not mistaken.
I don't know if there's a way to search if the F3 key will allow me to search the chat. QQQ. Yeah. It got something up. That doesn't mean they all contain QQQ though.
Well,
that was strange. I typed QQQ.
Hello, testing 1, 2, 3. Is that better?
It doesn't work. Yeah, that's good. I can hear you.
Okay. Desanya, yes. Let me see if I find it.
Yeah, you see if you can find it. I want to start reading some of the chat. Drone Shots is here. Mike, how you doing? Gladys Kravitz Jr. Jan Klustra, DS111. How you guys doing? Pure Blooded Patriot. The air fryer is amazing for bacon.
I got it.
Okay.
QQQ, can you explain the excitement over Feldman's MHR study? He's only just now done. So you know the question. Yes. He's only just done the baseline scans and still needs to do follow-up, what's that say, on scans on these 100 participants.
Yes, sir. I had the good fortune to actually spend a couple hours in Orlando at the keto thing there back in August, talking to Dave Feldman. Spent a lot of time. He's an interesting guy because he's not a medical guy. He's an engineer who happened to have sky high cholesterol, and it was, in fact, David Diamond, the other big researcher and brain in the cholesterol field. These guys started. He was like a neurobiologist. He wasn't a lipid guy, but David Diamond. So I'm deciding that all really smart cholesterol people are named David. Yeah. But the lean mass hyperresponder theory was that the pure panic on that one number tells all philosophy that the entire medical community has had since Ansel Keys and his diet heart hypotheses screwed up the human race is not true. Because when you look at the real numbers in the real tests, it turns out that just as many people who have heart disease and heart attacks have low cholesterol. In fact, there's no data and no test results anywhere that shows any real correlation, let alone causation, between the level of LDL and heart disease. There are studies that were commissioned by drug companies when they came out with statins, and these studies were paid for by the drug companies, designed by the drug companies, administered by the drug companies, and they did a ton of them. And they had the luxury, if their studies didn't show what they were trying to prove, is that you should buy their statins. They did what they called file drawer them, and they never saw the light of day. And there was no law that said they were required to publish the results of studies, which showed, if anything, an inverse relationship, showing that the people that took the statins were worse than the people that didn't. And when they did find a study that somehow, because of things that they call confounders, made it appear like some dietary factors were indeed responsible for a slight advantage over the results of the people on the drug as opposed to off. Then they put their statisticians to work, and they published the results in terms of what they call relative risk instead of absolute risk, which blew the benefits so far out of proportion it was preposterous. And yet on those same tests, when they published the results of the number of people that got the side effects and got hurt by these drugs, those results were published in absolute risk, which minimized it. And that's where David Diamond, if you've never watched any of his videos, you go watch David Diamond stuff and he'll show you exactly how they did that. And it'll make you mad. It's unbelievable. And basically, I think if I want to simply explain it as to how it works, he did it in a way where he said they were talking about so many people died and so many people lived. And what he did was he drew the same graph, but he put the bars of the people that lived rather than the people that died. And they went up to like 100%, whereas the people that died were down below 1%. It was like 0.8, 1.2%, 0.8%. You know, tiny little numbers. But if you take that 0.8% and you make it the whole length of the scale of the chart you're making, in other words, it's 0 at the bottom and 0.8% at the top. Even if it goes to the top of the chart, it's still almost insignificant at 0.8%. But if you start with a chart that's 100% from the bottom to the top, and you chart the number of people that didn't die for each group of the drug people and the control group, it makes more sense. So he charted with blue lines. Over here, a line went up, and it was the people that didn't die, and it was so close to the top of the chart, to the 100%, that you could hardly see that there was any room above it. And then next to it, there was another bar, and that was the people who didn't die that were taking the statins. And it went up almost all the way to the top. And unless you looked real close, you'd see that those two lines almost were exactly the same at the top. And anybody casually looking at a chart like that, saying, okay, these people didn't take the statins, these people did, your first question would be, I don't see any difference. Well, look closer. So you get up closer and you look, and you find out that there's like a 0.5 or 4 or 5% difference in those two lines. Okay. So what they do is they take this level, which might have been 0.8%, and this level, which might have been 1.3%, and they say that 0.8% is 43% of 1.3%. 0.8% is 43%. So that means that the 1.3% number is 43% bigger than 0.8. That's math. Okay, if I tell you how much bigger is 1.3 than 0.8, you'd say, you could figure it out by dividing one into the other, and you say that's 43%. And out comes the Crestor or the Lipitor ad in the magazines and on CNN that says Lipitor reduces your risk of heart attack by 43%. Okay? Do you understand what I'm saying? They're claiming, anybody in their right mind would say, sign me up. I can almost cut my risk of heart disease in half. What they don't tell you is your risk of heart disease without the medication is almost negligent. And with the medication, it's 43% less negligent. But it's negligent in either case, statistically insignificant, buried in the noise of the study, because in fact, in both groups, out of the 100 people, 99 of them lived. And they've done studies like this. And then when you dig into how the data was gathered for the study, it's epidemiological data. It's done by food surveys. Excuse me, sir, how many pounds of pork ribs do you think you ate last week? How much meat did you eat? Did you eat at McDonald's? Okay, you're a meat eater. Do you eat pizza with pepperoni on it? Okay, we'll put you in the meat eater category. And then they say, well, of the people that ate meat, such and such happened. So, if you went to McDonald's and you had a hamburger and it had a bun and it had French fries on the side and a milkshake and ketchup and other kind of high sugar sauces on it, because that had a quarter pound of hamburger in there, you're a meat eater, and all the bad shit that happened to you because all that other crap you ate gets blamed on the meat. And that's how they do it. It's all a fraud. Now, this lean mass hyperresponder, what they found out was that these guys with LDL cholesterols of 500, 600, 800 were athletic. They were thin. They were healthy. They were specimens, human specimens, but their cholesterol was sky high. The other thing they had in common was that they had extremely high HDL, and they also had extremely low triglycerides. So to qualify to call yourself a lean mass hyperresponder, you have to have HDL, I think it's above 70 or 80. You have to have triglycerides below 70. I think the ratio has to be below 1 to 1. And it doesn't matter where your LDL falls. So what they did is they found 100 of these guys and they enrolled them in a study, and they funded this study themselves. This is not funded by any drug company or food company or anybody. They actually went out and formed a nonprofit organization and raised the money to fund these studies from people that have no agenda, that are only interested in finding out the truth, not to prove that their truth is right and the other guy's wrong, which is where most studies try to do. And they put these guys through a series of tests a year or so ago. And those tests included imaging of their arteries and their heart. They did both calcium artery scans, CAC. They did the angiograms, CT angiograms, where they could see plaque, not just calcium. And recently, they released the results, and the results were staggering in that there was only, I think, less than a handful, one or two maybe, of people that had any kind of calcium or plaque buildup in their arteries, even though their LDL cholesterol levels were sky high. They're still in the process of finishing the study, and there's some other steps in it that they haven't published yet, but they did publish a preliminary findings, and they were very encouraging to guys like me, because I maybe not fall into the absolute lean mass group, but Dave was talking about a second group of people who are so close to the HDL and triglycerides that the same chemistry that applies to these lean mass hyperresponder athletes would apply to them, and they're explaining now why not only is it not harmful, but it's very beneficial for healthy people like that to have as much cholesterol as they can, because that's such an important molecule in our body. Now, do we want to believe that? My LDL is like 300. My total cholesterol is 412. My HDL is 72. But the last time my triglycerides were high, which I think was just a temporary thing because I'd worked out shortly before hard, and I was drinking, and I had some coffee, and I was told later on that for 2 days before you get a fasting blood test, don't work out, don't drink coffee. So I have a funny, because my triglycerides are normally lower than that. So I'm looking forward to, in a couple months, going back. Not that I worry about my numbers. I don't, because they misinterpret what they mean anyway. But I've heard a lot of theories about why, when you are metabolically healthy and metabolizing fat as fuel and not sugar, that the reason your LDL is high is because your LDL is not damaged, glycated, or oxidized. It's not small, dense LDL. It's big, fluffy LDL. And your LDL numbers are weight. So the bigger these particles are and healthier they are, the more they're going to weigh, because they don't do particle counts very often in standard blood tests. And that they're carrying fat and cholesterol. See, an LDL particle, a low density lipoprotein, is a protein that carries all kinds of fat soluble things around your body, because the blood can't carry them. The blood is aqueous. If it's not water soluble like glucose, you can't just pour it into the blood. It'll clog things up. So they have these little lipoproteins, which are the equivalent of like little FedEx trucks, little delivery vehicles, and they load them up. And they load them up with a lot of things. They load them up with triglycerides. They load them up with cholesterol. They load them up with all the fat-soluble vitamins. That's how those vitamin E, vitamin K, vitamin D, that's how those vitamins get to all the cells in your body, is they're delivered by these little FedEx trucks in your blood, these little LDL particles. So if you're really healthy and you got all the vitamins that you need, and you're running on fat, and that fat has to be delivered to your cells for cellular respiration to generate energy, it's obvious to anybody that's thinking about it that the healthier you are, the more of this you'll find in your bloodstream, as long as you don't show any markers of insulin resistance. And there are plenty of markers of that: high blood pressure, big waists, a lot of visceral fat, you know. But if you're healthy and all the other tests, inflammation is very low, and all the other tests show that they're perfect, the current thinking, or we're leaning towards the thinking, that you have to have all this stuff traveling around in your bloodstream, otherwise you wouldn't live. How would it get there? How is all that fat getting to the cells to be used as fuel? Now, if you're burning sugar, you don't need that, which is why if you have extremely high LDL, like a carnivore like me, if I ate carbs for a week and went back in to take a blood test, I'd drop my cholesterol by 100 points, because my body wouldn't need, it would be running on sugar as an alternate fuel, and it wouldn't need that fat. And that's happened to a lot of people. Their cholesterol goes sky high. They get scared into eating carbs again. They eat carbs, their cholesterol goes down, and then they brag about it and say, well, carbs lower your cholesterol. There's nothing wrong with the high fat, in your bloodstream, if it's being used as fuel. It's not clogging anything up. Lipoproteins don't clog up your arteries. They don't stick to your cell walls. It's all been mistaken, and the research that we have these days is proving to give us a much better understanding of how it all works. Do we have definitive proof? Nobody wants to do these kind of studies. There's no money in finding out you don't need the drug. There's no money in finding out Coca-Cola is killing you. There's no money in finding out any of that stuff. There's nobody with a money interest. The
Lucky
interest
Charms
is
healthy.
What's that?
Lucky Charms is healthy.
Well, according to Tufts University, I mean, that, if anything ever screamed corruption, that was it. When you come out and make a statement so absurd that Lucky Charms is 5 times better for you than an egg fried in butter,
than meat
or meat. Yeah. When you make a statement that absurd, but that's a long answer to a short question. I hope that it made some sense to you, but there are a number of videos, tons of them out there, by some, Bags Pack Family. How you doing, my friend? Thank you so much. I got a super chat.
A quick question by
Yes.
Desanjay. He wrote a while ago, actually. R.E. Feldman. I understand the background of the LMHR research.
Right, lean mass hyperresponder.
But why is she so happy that the very start of it, like he succeeded in something? He still has a long way to go.
Also, he does.
Want to just real quickly say hello to Carnivore Leo Rhonda, first time on your chat.
That's good. Well, let me finish thanking Bags Pack Family and tell you all a little bit about this guy.
Okay.
He's a fella that has a very large YouTube channel. Huge. I mean, 100,000 plus subscribers huge. And he lives over on the other side of the world with his family. They travel all over the place. And he communicated with me in an email. And a fascinating guy. And I watched a couple of his videos. So if anybody, wants to see some interesting YouTube videos about it, a family that's just going all over the place with their kids and everything, it's check them out. Bags Pack Family. So thank you so much. I appreciate it. All right. I hope that answered the question. The study's not done yet, but the preliminary findings that they released showing that all of these guys with cholesterol levels so high that their doctors thought they were going to croak any minute turned out to have minimal or no coronary artery or heart damage whatsoever with that astronomically high LDL that they had, because they were metabolically healthy. Everything else was working right. And the high cholesterol probably was responsible for their health not hurting them. Like all of those studies of millions of older people that show the older people with the highest levels of cholesterol are the ones with the longest mortality. They live longer than anybody else. So I think they're going to turn this upside down. The problem is there's trillions of dollars that don't want this to get turned on its head, because our entire half of our economy is based on the sale of these poisonous foods and the treatment of the conditions, lifetime treatments of the conditions that these foods cause. Too many people, we talked about this, too many jobs at stake. They don't want that to go away. They will do anything, publish any kind of fraudulent news. They're in the pot. They got everybody in their pockets. They advertise on every bit of, on all the media. The media can't go against them. It's such a corrupt system, and it's all about money and greed and not health. And what are you going to do? That's the way it is. Anybody else got any other questions in here?
I have a comment.
Okay.
I think it was Swamp Ninja talking about gout and wondering if it was too much meat. And I remember many moons ago I asked you that they called this a carnivore diet like a rich man's disease, and you had said it had something to do with eating meat and carbohydrates.
I don't know. That's not an area of my expertise. All I know is that most people on carnivore who had gout, like me, report that the gout went away. There is detrimental effects to the body eating carbs and fat at the same time. Without doing a deep dive into that triggers something called the Randall cycle. And that's a whole nother can of worms to try to explain to people. But we are designed to run on either, like a hybrid car. It's either running on electricity or gas, sometimes a little of both, but works better when it just prioritizes. Well, our cells have different pathways for sugar and fat that lead to the same place in what's called cellular respiration, which is where the fuel and the air and come together and get metabolized, leaving a byproduct of carbon dioxide and water. So carbon dioxide and water are your body's waste products. You breathe in oxygen, you eat the food, the oxygen and the food come together in the end process called oxidative phosphorylation, which is the last step. To show you how I know some fancy words. It's the last step in the electron transport chain, where ATP, adenosine triphosphate, is generated, which is the currency, the energy currency of the body. So the goal of all of this, eating different kinds of foods, breathing air, all this, the goal of this is basically to end up in this one little pathway in the cellular membranes of our mitochondria in each cell of our body. Thousands and thousands of these little molecular machines are working. And what they're being fed is coming from two different pathways. It's either from sugar or from fat. And the Randall cycle basically is a referee there that decides when there's when to reject, when not to let the sugar in the cell, and it controls, in essence, the flow of these different types of energy into the cell, and both of them together just screw things up. That's not a real highly sophisticated chemical explanation of what happens. It's just not good. You when you're burning fat, things work a little better, but the end result is to generate ATP, and that's the energy that the body uses. to power a lot of cellular machinery and everything else. It's an amazingly complex system. I can't say that I thoroughly understand all of it because I don't know if anybody does. I've heard people lecture on the subject, and my head ends up spinning sometimes from those lectures. But it fascinates me, and it makes a lot of sense. And the understanding of that helps me. It helps me in my conviction to know that I'm doing the right thing, even though 99% of the people out there tell me that what I'm doing, and they always use the phrase, everybody knows. Well, everybody knows red meat causes cancer. Everybody knows red meat clogs your colon. Everybody knows that humans have 15 to 20 pounds of undigested meat in their colon. And every time I hear somebody say everybody knows, it makes me crazy. I've said this before. It's like when people tell me when a politician tells me what the American people want. And I go, wait a minute, time out. I'm American.
They didn't ask you.
I don't want that. I don't want that. Don't speak for me, please, when you're telling everybody else what the American people want. But people are like that. Everybody's selling something, including me, I guess. So what else we got here?
Other than that, Von White, let me see. Not a question, but a statement that in 6 months, I've lost 14 pounds, and I just got the results of my blood work that my kidney function has gone up to 59, normal is 60. And he says, I'm not sure what it was. Last time, carnivore is it for me. So,
well, that's another thing they tell people. You can't eat all that meat because it's bad for your kidneys. Just the opposite is being shown, This seems, you watch Ken Berry, any of those guys, they have thousands of people that are in their private groups or their patients, and they see the improvement in all of these things that goes completely against what the conventional wisdom out there tells you, what they think they know. It's crazy.
Monkey has come to revelation. I just had a colonoscopy after drinking that nasty prep.
I know, so there's 15 pounds of anything. That's what I tell people. It's really funny. I said, you know what? Why don't you go find a doctor that does colonoscopies and ask him if he ever found 15 pounds of undigested red meat in anybody's colon, or ask anybody that after they did a colonoscopy prep ended up with 15 to 20 pounds of undigested red meat coming out. The real truth, the real fact is that most of the meat that we eat, most of the animal products that we eat never make it to the colon. I think most of you probably know that by now. They never make it to the colon. They get completely absorbed in the small intestine, which causes a lot of people that go on carnivore to think that they're constipated, because they may not go but once a week or once, or every 3-4 days. Some people have reported that they go 10 days between bowel movements. For me, it's 4 to 6 days. I can cram 2 pounds of meat into my body every day. 2 pounds. I eat at least a pound or more of beef. I eat a half a pound of bacon. I eat 5 or 6 eggs. I'm eating 2 pounds of food a day, and nothing comes out. And for the longest time, I thought I had a problem. I thought I was blocked up, but I never felt bloated, or I never felt like I had something blocked up in there. And then after watching enough videos and listening to enough people who know talk about this stuff, I realized that you just don't go that often. There's just not that much waste. You're not eating any of the fiber and all that plant stuff. Your body wants to use everything that you put in it. Like your car. You put gasoline in your car. The gasoline never comes out the other end. It gets used for energy. It's gone. You don't have your car doesn't stop to take a whiz at the gas station to get rid of excess fuel that it didn't use. It uses 100% of it in the operation of the engine. And we eating the right foods, why wouldn't we be that efficient? Why would we have to eliminate that kind of waste? Now, I can understand a vegan, like a vegan animal, like a cow or a monkey, but that's because they're eating so much undigestible stuff. But they eat their feces.
Wonderful.
Because, well, they want to get, because there's more still left that energy that they can get out of this low energy, high fiber food by running it through the mill again and giving the bacteria another shot at it in the hindgut. And it's the bacteria that really digests that stuff, not the animal. And the bacteria digest it, and the byproducts of the bacteria's digestion are fatty acids, which they give up to the animal. And those fatty acids are used to build the animal and build the stuff that we eat. So we are in for all intents and purposes, eating bacteria poop that turned into an animal. But that's how it works. And the reason that we can't eat what those vegan animals eat is we don't have the plumbing anymore. Where our appendix is, it used to be the start of the hindgut, where that these animals have, where this stuff can sit and have the bacteria act on them. And we don't have that plumbing anymore because we lost the need for it. And we lost the need for it because the food we were eating when we started eating meat was nutritious enough that it didn't need to be broken down any more than it is in the first part of our track into, like, protein are just split up into the amino acids they're made of. That's not a lot of work to split up a protein back into its raw, one of the basic 20 or 21 amino acids that it's made of. So scientifically, the vegans don't have an argument. They just don't. I don't understand how you could study biology and learn all this stuff and then go out and say that, being a vegetarian or a vegan is the way to go.
Mitch, what was the name of the air fryer you bought?
Z-Star.
And it's in the description below or somewhere.
No, I haven't even gotten a link. I'm going to make the video tomorrow.
LEB, his video will be out tomorrow. You'll see it.
And let me do this real quick. I can show you what it looks like. Let me go on to Amazon.
Is it dishwasher friendly?
What's that?
Is it dishwasher friendly?
Yes, it is. It has a grill, it has a basket, and it has a liner in the bottom, and those things can be put in the dishwasher.
Right.
Let me
and
see.
About,
again. Hold on
a
a second.
Screen?
What's that?
Where the air is coming in and out, doesn't have a screen?
I didn't look at that close. Here, let me put it up on the screen here, and you'll see.
She's looking forward to your video.
This is it here. It's got a glass thing in the front, and the lid lifts up. I'm trying to. Come on, don't just show me what you're cooking with it. Show me the thing. Yeah,
that's a Ninja Foodie copycat.
It is. It is. Kind of. It's very simple to use, and it's pretty cool. You'll see it. You'll see it in my video tomorrow, and I'll go ahead and put a link. They're selling it for 141. So it's like $199 gizmo, but they're selling it for 141 right now. I don't know if they have specials on it. I paid a little less than that when I bought it. They call it a 7-in-1. It does air crisping, grilling. It does dehydrating. It does all this, and it's quiet. It's very quiet, and it doesn't. And no smoke came out. I made 450 degrees. I cooked a ribeye. It cooked it in 8 minutes, man, from raw. 8 minutes, and it was perfect. And no smoke, zero smoke. I don't know where the smoke went, but
there is no smoke.
It has air crisp, dehydrate,
grill, right?
Grill, roast, bacon. The bacon they showed in one of the videos. They cooked bacon. It looked terrific. It really is I think it's going to be great. Like I say, tomorrow afternoon, I'll probably release that first video, and I'm going to try to cook with it exclusively for the next few days. I'll tell you what I'll do after, if anybody's interested in this, after the live stream tonight. I haven't done it yet, but on the page on the Old Guy Carnivore website where I have the stuff that I use, I'll go ahead and put that in there. So after the live stream's over, it'll take me about 10 minutes to do that. I'll put that on the website. Anybody wants to go to Amazon to look at it. Of course, I would appreciate it if you did it with my affiliate link. So
can I make a suggestion on your video?
Yes.
Show us how easy it is to clean, or the basket underneath that catches the grease.
Oh, I'm going to show all that. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's what I like about the food.
I already filmed it. It's all in this little camera here. I just
gotcha.
So I gotta remember to put the Amazon. I'll do that. I don't know if you guys, I don't know if you're interested in any of this stuff or if you know how this works, but the way the Amazon affiliate program is, Amazon gets a tremendous amount of business because people like us, when we use things, now some people have channels dedicated to doing nothing but getting people to go to Amazon and buy stuff under their affiliate link. And you can tell these channels on YouTube because they always say things like the 5 best air fryers of 2023. The best Amazon deals this week, and they pick out and they brag about it, and they, as if they had actually used all that stuff. And then they have an affiliate link. And what happens when you're an Amazon affiliate partner, they call you. We're all partners. I got lots of partners. Can you see this? Can you see my mouse where I'm moving it around up at the top of the screen there?
You talking to me?
Yeah. Can you see where my mouse is?
Let me see. Yes.
Okay. At the top of the screen there's a bar, and it says Amazon affiliates. And if I have a product showing up in the window here, I can go here to text, and it creates a link. And if anybody uses that link that it just created to go to that Amazon page, it knows basically I sent them, and it knows that whatever couple of % commission they're going to pay, it's not a lot, but it adds up. If you've got a YouTube channel with 1 million subscribers buying this stuff, it adds up to a fortune. But in my case, it's maybe gas money every month. But it still helps. All this stuff helps. You have to do all of this stuff if you want to try to make a living, doing a YouTube thing like I'm doing here. It's unfortunate, but the people that do this generally can't make a living at being as small a channel as I am. I've got over 14,000 subscribers now, and it sounds like a lot, but it really, in the overall scheme of YouTube, is a tiny channel. When you look at all the videos out there to get 100, 200, 300, 1 million views, one after the other, and I struggle to get up to 2,000, 3,000 views on a video. Sounds like a lot. I'm tickled with it, but there's no money in it. Not enough people seeing those ads. Another thing I wanted to announce, and I hope everybody hears this, whether it's on the live stream, whether it's on a replay or not. YouTube changes the rules of the game every so often. They always do. Just when you think things are going along good, just everybody's liking it the way it is. They changed something, and what they did was they changed the rules for how the ads that they place on our channels are going to be placed. And the change is happening November 1st. After November 1st, you guys will not have the option to skip the ads. You're going to have to watch the first pre-roll and post-roll ads. Nobody sticks around for the ones after the video. That's going to hurt. That's going to hurt us. It's going to have people clicking off before they watch our videos, which hurts everything for us. YouTube, in the meantime, has decided it's not going to hurt us. They said they've done studies that show that we'll lose about 5% of the number of views we get, but we'll make 15% more in ad revenue because people are forced to watch the whole ad. And we cannot click that button, that checkbox that we have now that says allow the users to skip the ad. And I've always done that so that anybody didn't want to watch the whole ad could do it. And they're taking that away. Now, I will have the option, as far as I understand, to decide whether I want to run what they call mid-roll ads. Those are those annoying ads that keep, like TV, keep popping up right in the middle of what you're watching. And you got to wait for they're done to continue. That, I think, is still going to be in our hands. The guys that make the most amount of money on YouTube for themselves always throw in the mid-roll ads. I have never thrown in a mid-roll ad, and unless YouTube forces me to, I won't. I don't like them myself. If I got to watch a 30-second ad before the thing starts, fine. Somebody's got to pay for all this stuff somewhere.
Do you get to pick the length of the ad or the ad?
We'll have no control over any of anything.
I usually watch your ads.
I know you do, because you know it makes me a little money, but I can't expect.
And at the same time, you know what? If you're going to do a video, then you say, all right, I know it's going to be a minute, so let me do something or get my drink while I start this. You know, like
we'll
prepare
see.
yourself.
We'll have to see. We'll have to see just how the users handle this when it happens. But it is going to happen November. I thought it was going to be October 1st, but turns out it's November 1st. I would be surprised if they change their mind again. But the latest emails that we've gotten as creators, I'm a creator. I always like.
Well,
I mean, that sounds kind of ominous when somebody calls you a creator. You know.
I remember a doctor complaining, one of my clients. He goes, I can't believe it. I'm not a doctor anymore. I'm a provider.
A provider. Oh,
yeah.
Yeah.
He's offended.
At any rate, that's going to happen to the ads. I mean, it's already the 17th of October, for God's sakes. I don't know where the hell this whole year went, let alone this month. But
you know, the ads I get a kick out of, and I just do, is the Lumi ads. Have you ever seen those?
No.
Okay.
I don't see.
Other people see it, but Lumi makes me laugh. Some of those ads are funny.
I pay YouTube like $14 a month to be a premium member, so I don't have to watch any ads. I also, when I listen to music in my earbuds or anything, I use YouTube Music, which is included. Now, I have Amazon Prime. Dragontis, thank you so much. Appreciate that super chat. Let me put that up on the board. There it is. Super sticker. Thank you so much. I love those things. I don't mind saying that I love those things. Where was I? Oh yeah. Where was I, Carlos?
Talking about the ads, I think.
No, I think I was done talking about the ads.
I'm sorry. I'm reading the comments.
Oh, B81 Mac. How you doing? Michael's Drones. How you doing, guys? Linda G is there. Margaret. I like that idea. Good for you. Yeah. That's nice. I think I'm beginning to feel like we have a nice little community thing going on here. And
it's like the AA of meat eaters.
Yeah, I guess.
It's a good, it's a good support group. It's not a bad thing.
Well, that's what we want to do. I had a whole bunch of other things that I wanted to talk about here.
Did you make a list? Jardians? Two persons I know.
David, if you can spare a minute to give me a call, want to talk to you about Feldman's. Oh, okay. He emailed me about that too. All right. I'll have to give him a call. That's Desaunier.
Gotcha.
Yeah, I have an email address, you guys, that if you want to get me a message or say something to me or ask me something, I'm open to you. I don't hide from anybody. It's just oldguycarnivore@gmail.com. And I have the notifications turned on my cell phone. I also get a little red dot up there anytime you leave a comment on one of my videos, which makes it a 24/7 job for me. Now, I turned off the audio because the thing was going ding every 10 seconds. But every time I look at my phone, it's got a red dot. And that's how come sometimes you'll put a comment in and 1 minute later you'll get an answer from me. It's because when I see it, I just see who it is. And if it comes up and I read it, I just say thank you or something. And I answer these things. And
Mitch, is your furniture? Oh, I'm sorry, go ahead.
I never get that response from the comments that I leave on other people's videos. Maybe they're busier than me, but I keep that up as long as I can. It takes a lot of time, though.
Is your furniture made out of material, or you have leather or something like that?
What furniture?
In your house, in your place?
I have some leather, mostly leather.
So does your food linger? Because I was reading some of the comments that people don't like the lingering smell of meat in their place. I'm thinking it's more material probably that holds on.
I don't know if it does or not. I like an answer that we got last week to that question, and that answer was that the vegetable oils are the ones that leave the most smell, and I don't cook with any of that stuff. So I think that when you're just cooking real meat and stuff, I don't think you get that much of a lingering smell. I mean, I go in and out of my place all day long.
Not even the bacon?
No, it goes away after a few hours. Yeah. But when you walk in here, it doesn't smell like somebody's house, like a fry, like you go into a diner and you smell that.
Like somebody's been smoking
stuff. Yeah. It's terrible.
No, I get that. No, but yeah. But I read a few times where people don't like the lingering smell of meat, like a greasy spoon in their place.
Back Family says YouTube Premium is $383 a month in Indonesia. Yeah, it's not here.
Like
That's what I was talking about when I forgot. The YouTube Premium, you don't have to watch the ads, and they actually take that money and they split it up. They give a tiny fraction of it to the people whose videos get watched. So I get actually some of the ad revenue I get from YouTube comes from the YouTube Premium, which is why I started letting them run the ads on my channel, because I said, I'll be damned if people are paying money not to see ads. And I'm entitled to a part of that money because they watched my video. But if I say to YouTube, don't run ads, then I let YouTube keep all that money. So it's a decision that you have to make. And it's getting to the point where that decision is going to be out of our hands anyway pretty soon. So let them do what they want to do. And everybody's going to have to be pissed about it if they're pissed about it. And I think it's actually a pretty good deal what you get if you look at it for this YouTube Premium, because you could spend all kinds of money on stuff. And it's getting to the point where what they charge is, I get all my music. So I don't, between that and Amazon Prime, I don't have to subscribe to Spotify or any of these music things. The YouTube music is fine. They got movies, tons of movies on YouTube. In fact, if you look in your browser, you'll see a tab on the side that says movies. You get, no ads, no nothing, just full length movies. They got tons of that stuff, plenty of music. I'm not trying to make Google money here, but I have it on. It's interesting because I have a couple different Gmail accounts, and I have the stuff that I watch is all tied to my personal, not my old guy Gmail account. So when I load up a YouTube browser and I happen to be signed in on that browser as the old guy, the ads pop up. And it reminds me how much of a pain in the ass that they are. So
I forget what you recently cooked, but you didn't use the ghee, and you used butter, and I've been using the ghee.
Yeah,
it was pretty good.
Yeah, ghee is great. I like it on seafood because it tastes more like drawn butter, like you'd have with shrimp or lobster.
Gotcha.
The one thing I noticed today, which I pointed out in this video that I'm going to be putting out tomorrow, is that I ate this ribeye that I cooked in this new air fryer, and it had no butter, because I always sear these things in butter. Okay. And it was a very distinct difference in the flavor of the steak without the butter and with the butter. And I think I almost liked it better without the butter, because I got more beefy kind of a taste. And at 450 degrees, this air fryer was hot enough to crisp it up, burn the outside just a little bit around where the fat is, where you get that Maillard reaction that caramelizes the fat, and that's what makes burnt ends the best part of a brisket. Well, you get that in this heat. I was happy with it. I'm, like I say, for the next couple of days, I'm going to do nothing but cook in this thing. I took some chicken wings out of the freezer. I'm going to make some wings in it. I'm going to cook some burgers in it. I cooked a big ribeye in it today, and I want to see, but it looks like it's going to become really quickly my favorite air fryer, not just because I like the way the food has turned out, but because it's twice as easy to clean as the Kasori basket.
Oh, really? Oh, even the basket?
Yeah, and the lid lifts up. So in the Kasori, that grease will build in up in the top part of it, and the only way to clean it is you got to turn it upside down, lay it on its top, and reach your hand in there and try to clean it out. This thing, when you lift up the top, it's all open. You can wipe it out real easy. It's amazingly easy to clean in this configuration. So
should be only 2 or 3 pieces: the air intake screen, the basket that you cook in, and the one that catches the grease.
Yeah. And they give you a grill. They give you 2 attachments. They give you a grill and a crisper basket.
Right. All right, Mitch, question from Florida. Sorry to interrupt.
Yeah.
Does your new air fryer flow hot air out of the back while it's cooking? Mine doesn't.
The Kasori does. I just opened it up today. I cooked one steak in it. I really wasn't that curious. I did not. When I use my air fryer, I set it on my glass cooktop on my stove under the range hood and turn the range hood. I always do that. And maybe that's why my house doesn't stink so bad. I think that.
Oops, sorry. Go ahead.
I think that it was the quietest air fryer I've ever heard. The thing made almost no noise. It was a pleasure, and it got hot because it has, when you put the lid down, there's glass in front. Okay, and you can see in there, and you can see the thing cooking, and you can see the only light in there is coming off the heating elements. They don't have a light bulb in there, so I like it. I don't know. Maybe it'll blow up tomorrow. Maybe a piece of junk. I think that.
How many minutes?
Okay.
Your ribeye, you said 8.
Took 8 minutes for an 1.25 inch thick ribeye to get to.
Came out medium.
No, it came out medium rare. I don't like medium.
Yeah, because mine I do in like 5 or 6 minutes.
Exactly 100. Exactly 100. Yeah, but you don't cook ribeyes that were this thick most of the time. I guarantee you.
You're about 1 inch. Yeah.
No, this was thicker than that. It was at least 1.25 inches thick. It was a hunk of meat. It weighed 1 pound. Was 18 ounces, 1 pound, 2 ounces.
And what do you do? Just under 135?
130.
130.
And I used the meter thermometer in it. Now, I like that because it's exact. I mean, the phone app comes and tells you, remove from heat, let it rest, ready to eat. It tells you everything. And it's dead on every time as far as the food being cooked right. And the neat thing about it being Bluetooth is you can put it in the oven, you can put it in a barbecue, you can use it anywhere.
Well, one of the Ninja Foodies comes with the probe that you can cook.
Yeah, a lot of them
put the probe in there at the same time.
I got a probe with my slow cooker. I could set the temperature that I want it to cook until, and then it will shut itself off too. In a slow cooker, you could say cook it until it gets to 205 degrees, like a brisket or something, and it'll keep cooking until it gets up to that temperature. So anybody got any more questions? We've been at it for an hour and a half.
No, they're just talking about the different
meats and air fryers and something like that.
That I can see, yeah.
Anyway, I'm trying real hard to make interesting videos for you guys. Well,
now you have a new toy.
It's been 2.5 months, and I don't know whether I'm a college professor or Martha Stewart on this, doing this stuff. I have down here in my little notes to ask which format of the kind of videos that I make do you guys like the best? What helps you the most?
I think I've already
I've already figured out that learning cellular biology isn't turning many people on. When I talk about organic chemistry or something like that, I don't think there's a big market for that.
No, you're cooking and talking and stuff like that.
I think the practical side of this is what people can take away, people can actually use to help themselves. I think it's important to understand all that other stuff because that keeps you motivated and gives you confidence to know that you are doing the right thing when everybody else in the world's telling you you're wrong. And I'll tell you what I notice, and it's sad, and it happened to me throughout my life, is getting kicked off of these things. How many times I worked hard, lost weight, and put it all back on again. And what brought that to mind, you guys probably all know a channel called Carnivore Quest. Cassie and Larry. I'm sure everybody in the community knows who they are. They've been around for a few years. They have had ups and downs and ups and downs and ups and downs and ups and downs. They're started out more of a keto type channel. Then they went carnivore. Then they did month-long fasts, and they seem like great people. I've never met them, never talked to them, never communicated with them, but they just seem like down to earth, good, honest people. And they do a nice job on their channel. I enjoy their videos, and they got a nice little family. And right before I started this live stream, I was out on my porch and I was looking around YouTube, and there was Larry had a video, and he had just released it a few minutes before, basically about him screwing up royally on the diet. And you could see he was very unhappy, and he talked about all the mistakes over the last few days and how hard it is and how they, to stick to it and all that other stuff. And I said to myself when I'm watching him, I said, I hear this same story on so many of the other influencers' channels. I screwed up. I did this. I did that. I don't think it's that most of them are doing it just to get views. I think it's more like going into a confessional booth for them. They're ashamed of themselves, and they feel like if they confess to their sins, they'll be forgiven. I don't ever have that urge. I don't ever even come close. I have no temptation. You could put me anywhere right now. You could throw me in the middle of a birthday party with people eating cake and ice cream all around me. I'd be looking for, some meat. And I say to myself, I never used to be. What's different? Why is it that, and why is it that Shawn Baker and Anthony Chaffee and those guys never even come close to falling off of it. And I came to the conclusion of what it was before I started preaching to everybody on YouTube. And I think that a lot of the things that I say or that I have said don't make the cut in people's minds as to how important they really are. So, and seeing this video with Larry describing his latest foibles and problems of sticking to this, and the way he described what happened to him told me exactly what the problem was, and it agreed with my theories. The problem is, he was talking about eating chaffles, making chaffles. Chaffle is a waffle made with mozzarella cheese and eggs in a waffle maker, and it's as close. And people who are on a low carb or keto diet, and even carnivore, some of them like to use it as a bread replacement. Put a hamburger, make a hamburger bun, out of it and all that. And it's not so much the macronutrients that are in that chaffle. It's the this is the God's honest truth. It's the psychological addiction to having to wrap bread around everything you eat. You know what I mean? And make a sandwich. Without the bread, it's nothing. It's a mindset. And it's telling your brain that you're eating the stuff you really want to eat. And your brain knows the difference and says to you, nah, you might think it's bread, but it's not. And that's when the cravings start for the real bread. Because you've awakened that little sleeping giant in you that takes over to control your mind and your body and parades you into the store to buy all the crap. I think, and I've said this so many times, don't eat low calorie or low carb versions of anything that you're addicted to. You will, like an alcoholic trying to drink non-alcoholic beer. It may taste like beer, may smell like beer, but your body knows that the alcohol isn't there. So you're teasing your body. You're teasing yourself. You thought it was real beer, but it's not. Well, it won't be long before you're drinking real beer. Trying to mimic a non-carnivore lifestyle while thinking that you're actually a carnivore is a 99% road to failure. That's why I keep saying there's no such thing as a carnivore pizza. You can't.
Doesn't make sense.
You can't. Well, you can do it. You can make the crust out of something that has no carbs in it, but it's still pizza. It's still that thing that's you think is pizza that you're addicted to. And by eating it, you're raising expectations of some additional form of pleasure that might come your way that doesn't come. And that's when you fall off the wagon.
See Mark C?
I see it. And you see it too.
Yep.
Mark C, thank you, sir.
You know what I think also?
Mark, wait a minute.
Yep,
on your 1.5-year carnivore journey, did you have times when your weight loss stalled? And what did you do to start the weight loss again?
That was a question.
That's a great question. And everybody who goes on these journeys is going to have a stall. And the reason they're going to have a stall, according to Ken Berry and so many other people that talk about this stuff, is that your body in its natural programming is programmed to hang on to weight. It's programmed to hang on to energy. It's programmed to put the weight on. It's a survival mechanism. It doesn't like giving up that weight. It gives it up only when it has to. And if it can stop that giving up of the weight for a little while until it makes sure that you really have to. So this causes most people on weight loss to step down. Initially, you go on the thing, you're going to lose mostly water, cellular water. Okay. That's why you can dump 6 pounds in 2 days. It's water. We all have that much water in our cells when we're carb eaters, when we're sugar eaters, because in the cells, every molecule of glucose is bound to a molecule of water. So when the sugar goes, out goes the water. You might even gain a little weight back while you're on it. But if you, at least in my case, just forget about trying to micromanage it. You can't. You basically have the simple. I made this last video that I just put out there trying to get the point across that the best thing to do to be successful on the carnivore diet, you have one thing you need to think about. That's it. One thing. And that's the food I put in my mouth. If I eat this, and that's something you may have to zero in on. You may have to say, okay, I don't know how much to eat. I don't know what time to eat. I don't know whether to eat more meat or more fat. Or you may have to experiment a little. But basically, once you come down to something that feels good to you, and you feel comfortable, you don't overeat, you don't feel hungry all the time, your bathroom visits are starting to become more regular, and that's the best indicator of too much fat or not enough fat. Is just constipation or diarrhea, one or the other. Find something in the middle, you're eating the right amount of fat. The clues are there. We are animals inside. This is all automatic programming. This is the same programming that all the other animals have. We have the regulation of all the biological functions in our body require no conscious thought. None. Zero. Every cat, dog, mouse, rat, June bug, every one of them out there doesn't think about how much should I eat? Do I need to go to the bathroom? What are my stools like? No, it's fully automatic. Our conscious minds only screw us up and get in the way. Try to let it be automatic. That's why I said the best way to handle this is stay out of it. Just eat the pound or two of food a day, whatever you think you settle on. Throw the scale away even. If you're going to lose weight, you lose weight. If you're not going to lose weight, you won't. There's nothing you can do about it. It's out of your control. All these people trying to micromanage this stuff by, I'm going to add a little of this, I'm going to put this little supplement, and I'm going to take exogenous ketones, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. You need to hire a friggin' accountant to keep track of all that stuff. For me, I finally realized, let nature, that I've got brilliant genetic programming in me. Let it do what it knows how to do. It gives me all the clues I need once I get my conscious mind out of the way. And since I finally started living that way, I haven't had to think about a thing, except maybe take some electrolytes. And I do take a drop of iodine in the morning, and there's a reason for that. And there are some things we need to think about. And I also said that in that last video. And that is the only thing that we need to be concerned about. We are built to run on a certain type of food. The food was here. The food was there. And we came along afterwards and started eating it and fine-tuned to that fuel. The thing that in these days and times, with the food supplies that we have, the only thing you need to be concerned about is what's different about the food that we're eating now than the food they ate, the meat they ate 100,000 years ago. And if you have to do anything, it's basically just try to compensate for that difference. That's where the iodine comes in. That's where the electrolytes come in. Because our ancestors used to drink out of ponds and other water supplies that were loaded with minerals that we don't get in our drinking water. So we need to add them in. We need to try to as closely approximate as we can the food supply of our ancient ancestors. And our ancient ancestors go back 3 million years. So if you go back 100,000 years, that would be okay too. And, that was the basis of all the original paleo talk, the paleo diet and all that. And it was a good concept. It made a lot of sense. It takes 50,000 years, 100,000 years for the genetics to evolve to make any significant change. We may be living in the 21st century, but our machinery is running on programming that's hundreds of thousands of years old. And the closer you can get to supplying that with the food and the environment that they lived in, the closer. That's why all of these gurus that are telling people how to live these days, grounding, blue light filters, sunlight exposure, all of the things to try to mimic what a caveman lived like. There was benefit to all of that external stuff. The sunlight that hits our body does a lot of things. It's incredibly beneficial. Those mechanisms go back to before animals and plants even split up, because in plants, photosynthesis is where they get everything from. Well, we get certain benefits from the sunlight, not just the sunlight, but what wavelength of sunlight. Well, the cavemen didn't have to think about that, but we do when we try to say what were they exposed to. So if anything, if you need to figure out anything, just try to figure out where you can get food that's closer to what they might have eaten. We'll never get there exactly. We can't. Most of those animals don't exist anymore. These huge monster-sized mammoths and mastodons and things that they used to eat, they're not around anymore. But the best you can do is get as close to that as you can. And you can do that by eating nothing but hamburger, really. I think the difference between grass-fed and grain-fed makes a little difference, but not really enough. You're going to get pretty close just eating meat. Like Ken Berry says, if you don't have any money and you can't afford it, you can still be a carnivore and eat nothing but Spam and hot dogs. Sounds crazy, but it's much better than breakfast cereal and orange juice for you.
Got a question.
Yep.
Linda G. I did not have the oxalate dumping. Is it normal or am I running behind the bus?
Some people have it, some people don't. I had a small amount of it. Did you ever have kidney stones? That's a good sign that you've had, especially most kidney stones are oxalate stones, calcium oxalate. And I had a bunch of them. I did a small amount of oxalate dumping. I actually had some little sores on my skin, little tiny, looked like a little pimple, and it had a little head on it, and they itched. When you scratched the head off, inside was a amber colored, almost the size of a flea, shard of what looked like glass. And it was oxalates that my body was actually rejecting out through my skin. And I had maybe a half a dozen of them in total, different places on my arms. I tried to save one of those little shards to see if I could get it analyzed, but you try to save a little piece of something like that, not lose it. But I wouldn't worry about it. You can, they say it takes years and years and years and years to get rid of all the oxalates we accumulate in our body. So you may still have some. You may still be subject to that. Maybe you didn't eat that many oxalates. If you bought into all the superfood stuff, the superfoods, remember the superfoods? Spinach, kale. Kale isn't too bad, but spinach is extremely high in oxalates. Dark chocolate, almonds. I used to eat tons of all that stuff. Turns out those superfoods were the highest oxalate foods on the planet, caused my kidney stones, which caused me a tremendous amount of grief.
What was that, 2.5 years ago you just had? I remember you said you were on the floor.
No, that was 8 or 10 years ago. I had the first attack.
No, but recently you had to call your son.
No, that was what I hit. That wasn't kidney stones. That was when I hit my head.
No, before that, I remember.
No, the kidney stones. I was hospitalized for the kidney stones between 8 and 10 years ago. but I have had kidney stones, and I've had the VA checking after them for ever since then. And I have 8 of them in me, but I haven't passed one. I know I've been living in the house I'm living in now for over 7 years, and it was in my previous house where I was on the floor in the kitchen with the kidney stone. So
I remember. And you know what I think gets people to fall off the wagon, depending on how much TV you watch? All the commercials. You're getting
they don't bother me anymore, Carlos. I'm telling you.
Well, maybe not you, but
no,
I think
I'm telling. But the point I'm trying to make is there's a difference. Randy, my buddy Randy is sporting one of my shirts, and where are you, Randy? I saw it. There it is. Randy K. You have great content. Thanks so much, man. I really appreciate you. And Randy is a member of our little private. Although we're really not private, there's nothing private about it. But he's a channel member.
There's a lot of money spent on the psychology of commercials and the whole.
Of course there is. I mean,
that's what I'm saying. So people do. If you watch TV and you're getting bombarded by that, either that.
But I'm trying to
pharmaceuticals.
I understand, Carlos. I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm telling you that you can't escape that. But if you get yourself in a position like I managed to by not eating anything anymore except the meat and the fat and the eggs, and don't try to make carnivore pizza, carnivore mashed potatoes, carnivore bread, carnivore rice, if you have to, it's psychological. You have to convince yourself, I'm not going to go through life trying to make imitation crap that I'm addicted to. Mm-hmm. Thank you, Randy. Randy has joined the group. Welcome. And you have to go through life. You can't go through life in search of eating the way you used to eat. You have to make the decision if you're going to really see. It's hard for me to say this on YouTube here. By me taking the hard line that I'm taking, I am turning away 90% of my potential viewers in the entire keto community, because I'm basically telling people that are on keto that their chances of failing on keto with all of these recipes trying to imitate addictive and sugary foods are the downfall. And the reason that all of these guys with the keto channels keep making these videos saying, I screwed up. I ate half the 7-Eleven. Poor me.
I guess
and then they come back and they do it again. I spent a lifetime doing that. I spent a lifetime on low carb diets trying to imitate ice cream and cookies and cakes with artificial sweet. You have to finally reach a point where you say, I do not eat that crap anymore in any form, imitation or real. And then the magic starts to happen. And this is the almost religious part of it. When you stop that, when you give that up, the urges for it disappear. You say, you become a different person. You say to yourself, I'm not interested in that. I don't want that. I don't even care if I never eat a pizza or a slice of pizza in my life, or a bagel or a donut. It's not what I do. I love the meat. You will fall in love with your food, and you'll be happier and happier with a smaller and smaller range of foods that you eat. It's crazy. At least it happened to me. And most people that have been carnivore for quite a while will tell you they had the same experience. Do you think that Anthony Chaffee sits around and wishes he could eat a donut? He's heading for the bacon and eggs. That to him is a treat. And if it hadn't happened to me, I wouldn't be listening to some bald-headed crazy old guy telling me this is possible. But that's why I did it. And at the point I am now, there is no chance that I could be tempted by anything like that. They'd have to force feed it to me and I'd put up a fight. And I mean, it's easy. It's never been as easy for me as it is now to stay healthy and stay thin and active and and not feel any feelings of deprivation that God, I'm feeling so deprived. Poor me. I love this. I ate my last meal at 3:00 this afternoon. I don't even want food. It's crazy, but it works that way.
Your body, you trained it.
What's that?
You trained your body.
My body has trained itself. I mean, once the chemistry changes in you, things start working like they're supposed to. Your brain is chemistry too. All that stuff is your brain trying to do things it thinks your body needs from the programming that it had back when we didn't have tremendous amounts of food. And when it came upon sugar, it was in survival situations, like I keep saying. So the natural urge in the programming was to scarf up on it, gorge it, get as much as you could while it was still there, while the bush still had some berries on it.
Well, I just mean habit when I say train. It's just a matter of habits.
Well, listen, guys, it's been 2 hours, and
yeah,
I could go on like this for days, but 2 hours is enough of me on any given night. I really had a good time, guys. I always have a good time with this, and we maintained an audience of right around 100 people, which I think for a small channel like mine is a pretty good showing. Thank you guys for everything. Thanks for the support. Thanks for all the kind words in the comments. And even you guys that want to boss me around and tell me I'm doing things wrong. Thank you too. I know most of your hearts are in the right place. Haven't seen too many trolls lately or miserable vegans. Maybe they decided.
Not on your live streams.
No, not in my chats, in my comments either. So it's been getting better. Maybe they all figured out there's nothing here to bother. So go away. All right, Carlos, I'll let you say goodbye to everybody and
goodbye to everyone.
And then I'll sign off. And I'll tell you what I'll do with that air fryer thing. Rather than program it onto the website, I'll go ahead and I got the link here. I'll just throw it in the description of the video after we shut it down. So if you're interested in going and look on Amazon and look at it, you can. You might want to wait until after I get done testing it a little more, find out if I think it's really something worth buying. So I don't want you guys buying something on my recommendation and then write me a nasty email saying that thing you recommended was a piece of garbage. So I'd rather not.
Is tried and tested. That one I can.
Yeah, I have to come up with an old guy seal of approval, like Good Housekeeping.
All right, guys. Have a good night. Carlos. Take care, Mitch.
Take care, buddy.
Bye-bye, everyone.
And thanks, guys. Enjoyed it. I always enjoy these Tuesday things. I think sometimes, Mario, thank you, my friend. And I think that sometimes I think I'd almost like to do I used to do 2 live streams a week with the drone channel. I really enjoy the live streams. I like to get people interactive. I had said a couple of weeks ago for people to send me an email and I would work out a way to invite them in. I have the emails. I still have them and I still intend to do that. Things have just not progressed in that direction where I thought I was ready for that yet. So those of you that have sent me those emails, I didn't forget about you. And we will get to that. We're going to do that in among the members who join our channel. I really love those kind of interactive live streams where they're private. They're really not broadcast out to everybody, and they're more like a group of friends getting together and helping each other out, talking about these things. Then if a lot of great information comes out and everybody who is involved agrees it's okay, then I can put it out there, make it public so everybody could see what goes on. But sometimes things in these private types of things are things that people want to keep private. You don't want 5,000 people watching it. So that'll be a decision that we'll make video to video. And with that, there's too many of you in here for me to say goodbye all at once. I see a lot of bacon. I see a lot of steaks. Randy K, thank you. Randy's found the emojis already. There's bacon, a pig. There's some special emojis. Andre's got the butter, it looks like. Mario, use chat. Yeah, I'd be interesting. I haven't done too much with that chat GBT. I don't want to be talking to computers. I like talking to people better. Boyd Lamb. Boyd, thank you. Thank you for becoming a member, and we will see you all down the road. I think that's about it. Let me bring in some music. Where's my music? No music. Sorry, guys, no music. Well, if music is that important, maybe I can find some music. What happened to my music here? Okay. No music. Gonna have to love me without music. So that's about it. 5 after 9, whatever's left of it. Take the rest of the day off. Everybody have a great rest of the week. I will see you on the videos and in the comments. And most importantly, eat meat.